Prior to installing your floor, you must allow the floor to sit in the space for 72 hours. Indoor living temperatures must be maintained before, during, and after installation between 15 and 24 Celsius or 58 to 75 Fahrenheit. Consistent indoor relative humidity must be maintained between 45 and 65%. 6 mil poly sheeting is used over concrete subfloors. The seams are overlapped by 6 to 8 inches and taped closed using moisture-resistant tape. Using a 4-foot or 10-foot straight edge, assess the level of flatness in the subfloor. Cork floating floors require a flatness quotient of 3 mm over 3 meters or 1/8 of an inch over 10 feet. Forna Cork flooring utilizes the Uniclic profile. It does not require the use of adhesives, nails, or screws during the laying process. Ideally, the baseboards and trim are added after the floor has been installed. If baseboards are left in place, quarter round or shoe moldings can be added afterwards to cover the 1/2 inch expansion gap. 12 mm or 1/2 inch spacers are used at all walls and outcroppings to ensure the proper expansion gap is maintained. The tongue of the plank are presented facing the wall. The tongue is to be trimmed from the first row of planks. The groove is left exposed or facing out into the room. Under no circumstances should the floor be nailed, screwed, stapled, or glued to the subfloor. It cannot be anchored by cabinets or door jambs. It must be allowed to expand and contract freely without hindrance. Take care to align the first row of the planks with each other. Keep the edges straight and parallel with the edge of the previous plank. The Uniclic system requires each plank to be angled into place and gently tapped to engage the lock system. Without the gentle tapping on each edge, you run the risk of the seams coming apart. A seam that is visible is a seam that can come apart. To measure the last plank in the row, you turn it over so it is sitting next to the installed row, tongue touching the spacer at the wall. Mark off the length of the board with your straight edge. Make sure you measure from the finished surface of the plank, not the groove. The last plank must be a minimum of 4 inches long. If it is not, the first plank must be trimmed to allow for the proper length. The pull bar is used to install the last row. Use the remaining length of plank trimmed from the previous row to start the next row. Measure to ensure the length is greater than 4 inches in length. If it is not, begin the row with a 1/2 plank, making sure the seam of the first row are offset by 2 to 3 inches. H-joints are to be avoided. Angle the cut plank into the groove of the laid row. Gently tap the edge to engage the lock system. The next plank is installed with the long edge in place. The tapping block is used to tap the plank towards the short edge of the previous plank. The pull bar or cat's paw is a must-have tool. It helps install the final plank in each row as well as the last plank of the floor. It can be used to access difficult angles or work around baseboard heaters or other objects.